Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right here we have a Ryzen 7 box. This is actually from my Ryzen 7 1800X, which resides in my main PC and has for about the past 2 years, paired with a 1080 Ti from EVGA. And frankly, I'm about as happy as I could possibly be with my system, with maybe one exception. And that one exception would be in gaming, where I am fully aware that a modern Intel chip, or even really an Intel chip from the period when Ryzen first came out about 2 years ago now, would outperform my 1800X. And if the rumors are true, the upcoming Ryzen processors, the third generation processors that is, based on the Zen 2 architecture, actually should be significantly better than either the first or second generation of Ryzen processors. And that's largely due to slightly better IPCs, but more importantly, significantly higher core clocks, which, as we know, games love that single-threaded performance, and it looks like the third generation Ryzen processors are going to deliver significantly better single-threaded performance, at least if you're hitting the higher core clocks, especially if you're overclocking to like 4.5, 4.6, maybe even 4.7 gigahertz. If you have some really awesome cooling on board, might be possible with the new upcoming processors. So now the question becomes, should you upgrade now to something like an older Ryzen processor that's already on the market, or if you're on an older PC, should you just hold out and wait? Now, I'm gonna make the argument, even though in gaming I have no doubt the 3000 series is gonna be a significant jump up, I'm gonna make the argument that upgrading now might actually be more beneficial. Let me explain why. So if you've watched this channel long enough, you know that I am very much into the price to performance game a little bit. I do buy and sell PCs occasionally, but really that's not the biggest part of my channel. But I do love taking a look at PCs with older hardware or PCs with just really budget hardware. In fact, coming through the channel, I think next week I'm going to be receiving an old Xeon with, I believe, another X58 motherboard. Hopefully that all works out and I can give some good content there. But these older pieces of hardware still have a lot of legs in them when it comes to gaming. And obviously, Ryzen processors are still pretty fresh on the market, especially if you're talking about the second generation Ryzen processors. They're still a fresh CPU architecture, and they definitely have a long lifespan in front of them, especially the 6 and 8 cores like an 1800X. It may not perform like Intel chips do on the higher end GPUs especially, and especially if you're looking at like 1080p gaming, but there's no doubt in my mind that this processor is still going to be able to game in 5 years from now, and there's a really good chance 10 years from now it's still going to be a viable gaming CPU, albeit not at the highest frame rates and not maybe even at the highest settings by then, but it's still going to be viable. And now to tackle the rumors of Ryzen 3000 series chips really competing head-to-head with Intel chips that have the same core counts and the same thread counts, even getting close to competing with them on clock speed, it's looking like the new Ryzen chips might actually give Intel a run for its money for the gaming crown. And even if they do, I'm still recommending the older CPUs for one major reason, and that all goes back to the price to performance. Right now, the first gen Ryzen chips are dirt cheap. In fact, we can go ahead and pop over here to Amazon. We have this Ryzen 7 1700 8-core 16 threads for $170, and that comes with a Wraith Spire cooler. Now, I guarantee you, if the Ryzen 3000 series is as great as the hype train seems to be indicating, or really even if it's anywhere close to that, then the 8-core and 16-thread 3000 series processor is going to be quite a bit more than $170. And that price difference, what I'm going to argue here, is that price difference is really going to be better served in a gaming PC, getting yourself a better GPU, especially if you're price limited to something like $800 or $1,000 budget. Then you would actually probably be better off from a frame rate perspective by getting these older Ryzen processors and pairing them just with a better GPU for your rig. And again, 8 cores and 16 threads is going to last you for a long time in a gaming PC, even a video production PC. 8 cores and 16 threads is going to last you at least 5 years, and realistically, if you wanted to, you could push it to 10 years probably, especially since we're starting to see smaller and smaller increments on the gains for each CPU generation. So I don't expect the 8-core and 16-thread first generation Ryzen chips to be obsolete completely anytime soon. Now, obviously, there's going to be better options out there from AMD, and obviously there already are better options out there for gaming with Intel, but at that price, that's a fantastic bargain. And if you're really tied to single core performance being a little bit better, you can always hop over here to the Ryzen 5 2600, which granted doesn't have a great cooler. It comes with the Stealth cooler, the Wraith Stealth that is, so it's not a fantastic cooler, but it's $165 for 6 cores and 12 threads, and you can probably get this thing with good cooling to 4.1 gigahertz if you get lucky, maybe 4.2 gigahertz, so you're gonna have a little bit better single-threaded performance if that's really all you need out of your processor than the Ryzen 7 1700, which you can get for just $5 more on Amazon. And again, though, you're going to see big savings if you're looking at a 6-core 12-thread part from the Ryzen 3000 series, at least at the time of launch. Now, obviously, down the road, those prices may dip back down to being more reasonable and more close to where the 2600 and 1600 even from first generation are right now. But with price to performance in mind, right now, it's almost impossible to beat these processors if you're getting them at the current price. Now, obviously, if you're watching this down the road, maybe those prices go up as AMD moves on towards the 3000 series and the 2000 and 1000 series processors aren't as readily available. But right now, they're a fantastic bargain. And I don't really see a scenario where the 3000 series comes in with a set budget and is able to top the performance of a system running one of these processors, because again, you just get that GPU upgrade with the savings that you save in the CPU department. But of course, all of this is conjecture, and we're still 5 months or so out, not quite 5 months, if the most recent launch date rumor of 7/7/2019 is to be true. So we are still a significant period of time out, which is also why I'm saying, you know, if you're already thinking about a PC upgrade or maybe just building a PC for the first time, go ahead and do it. 5 months is a really long time to wait for something like this, especially when I'm not really foreseeing, and I don't know that many people can build a strong argument against this. I don't think that at a set budget, you're gonna see much better performance out of a 3000 based series CPU in a set budget PC like $800 or $1,000. I think that you can get great performance out of what's already available. Go ahead and buy what you can afford, and then enjoy the next 5 months of gaming on your brand new PC or on your upgraded PC. Now, if we were within a month or even maybe 2 months of the Ryzen 3000 series launch, then sure, maybe you hold off and wait just to see what the numbers are, because having that information then gives you the best chance to make the right decision, because you have all the information, there's no unknowns. But because we're so far out, I would go ahead and stick with the either first generation Ryzen 7 chips or second generation Ryzen 5 chips because of their extremely good value. But of course, I do want to hear from you guys, and I do want to know what you think about this whole thing. Would you go ahead and build a system maybe based on Ryzen, or maybe you would even recommend an Intel system right now? Or would you say, no, you're all wrong, Shane, go ahead and wait and see what the Ryzen 3000 series brings? Let me know down below. And of course, if you like this content, you want to see more like it, give this video a like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Hoosier Hardware. I'll leave that tag down below. And of course, I'll let YouTube queue up a couple more videos around me from my channel for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.